The alien research ship hung silently in Earth's orbit, its sleek purple hull reflecting the sunlight. Inside, Chief Researcher Tech stared at the readings with all four of his eyes wide open. This couldn't be right. He checked the numbers again. Impossible, he muttered, his thin fingers tapping rapidly on the control panel. No species could survive in these conditions. The planet below them showed readings that broke every rule they knew about habitable worlds. Extreme temperature variations, high gravity, deadly radiation levels, aggressive wildlife, and countless natural disasters. Yet somehow, there was life down there. Not just life, but a civilization. "Sir," one of his junior researchers called out, "you need to see this." On the main screen, they watched as primitive metal vehicles launched into space, carrying supplies to a crude orbital station. The beings inside wore simple pressure suits that looked laughably basic compared to standard galactic technology. "Class 13, Tech whispered. "We've discovered a Class 13 Deathworld. The Council won't believe this." The Council had classified habitable planets from 1 to 12, with 12 being theoretical Deathworlds that could never support intelligent life. This planet was even worse. Yet these humans not only survived but thrived. "Begin capture operations," Tech ordered. "We need specimens to study." Their ship's beam technology easily plucked 3 humans from a military base in a remote area. The humans wore green clothing and carried primitive projectile weapons. They seemed unconscious from the transport. "Place them in holding cell 3, Tech commanded. "Maximum security protocols." That was his first mistake. Captain Jack Thompson woke up with a pounding headache. The cell around him glowed with a soft purple light. His 2 teammates, Bill and Robert, were already awake and examining the strange walls. "Playing dead?" Bill asked with a grin. "Studying the situation," Jack replied, standing up. His weapons were gone, but they hadn't taken his boot knife. Amateur move. The aliens probably thought their technology was impressive, but growing up on Earth, humans learned to break things early. Jack had spent his childhood taking apart computers. Now he studied the cell's energy field. "See that pattern?" He pointed to a slight flicker in the barrier. "Power fluctuation. 7 seconds apart." The aliens watched through hidden cameras as the humans sat quietly. "Such docile specimens," Tech noted. "Begin the first tests." That was his second mistake. The moment the force field dropped to let in the research team, Jack and his team moved. Earth's high gravity had made them faster and stronger than the spindly aliens expected. Within seconds, they had control of the research team's weapons. "Basic rule of Earth," Jack told the shocked aliens as he held their own energy weapon against them. "Everything is trying to kill us. We learned to fight back early." The team moved through the ship like they'd trained for it all their lives. In truth, years of combat against Earth's deadliest enemies. Other humans had prepared them for anything. They reached the bridge in 10 minutes. The alien security teams never stood a chance against humans who had evolved on a planet where everything was lethal. "Ship secured," Bill reported, his stolen weapon covering the terrified bridge crew. Jack sat in the captain's chair, studying the alien controls. They weren't so different from Earth computers. "Send the signal," he ordered. Robert used the ship's communications to contact Earth. Within hours, more human ships would arrive. The aliens had made 3 critical mistakes. They had underestimated humans. They had given them access to advanced technology. And worst of all, they had made humans angry. "Congratulations," Jack told the captured alien crew as Earth ships approached. "You just gave humanity its first alien spaceship. We're going to learn everything about it, improve it, and build our own. And then we're coming to visit your worlds." The aliens trembled. They had thought they were studying primitive beings from a death world. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Tech realized, too late, why no one had ever encountered a Class 13 civilization before. They weren't rare. They were apex predators, waiting to be discovered. and humanity was ready to show the galaxy why Earth was called a death world. High Admiral Vale stood before the Galactic Council, his silver robes shimmering under the Grand Chamber's lights. His thin fingers moved across the holographic display, dismissing the reports from the research vessel. Clearly, he said with a sneer, "These reports are exaggerated. No primitive species could capture one of our ships." The council members nodded in agreement. They had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. The very idea that primitives from an impossible Class 13 death world could challenge them was absurd. "The solution is simple," Vale continued. "We will take a proper fleet and show these humans their place in the galaxy." None of the council members noticed the worry on the face of their oldest member, Master K. He alone remembered the ancient warnings about Deathworld species, but his voice was ignored. 2 weeks later, Vale stood on his command ship's bridge, leading a fleet of 50 warships toward Earth. The human system had minimal defenses, a few primitive satellites, and a small collection of chemical-powered ships. "Pathetic," Vale muttered, watching the tactical display. "Send the demand for surrender." The message was broadcast in all known languages. "Primitive world Earth, you stand before the might of the Galactic Council. Surrender now and become our subjects, or face extinction." The response came quickly. On his view screen, a human appeared. Vale recognized him. It was Jack Thompson, the one who had led the capture of their research vessel. "We have a message for you too," Jack said with a smile that showed too many teeth. "Look up." Vale's sensors screamed warnings. Above his fleet, space itself seemed to tear open. 20 ships emerged, larger than anything the Council had ever built. Their design was familiar but wrong, like Council technology twisted into something new and deadly. "Impossible," Vale whispered. "You couldn't have built these so quickly." "You gave us a ship," Jack replied. "We took it apart, learned how it worked, and made it better. Earth's nations united the moment we knew aliens existed. We've been busy." The human ships moved with impossible speed. Vale watched in horror as his sophisticated weapons barely scratched their hulls. The humans had taken Council shield technology and improved it using their centuries of warfare experience. "All ships, open fire," Vale ordered, panic creeping into his voice. But the humans had another surprise. Smaller ships launched from the larger ones, moving in ways that defied physics. Each one carried a human pilot who had grown up in Earth's crushing gravity. They could handle maneuvers that would kill any Council species. "You should have checked Earth's history," Jack's voice came through again. "We've been fighting wars since we could walk upright. Everything on our world tries to kill us, so we learned to kill back. We've had nuclear weapons pointed at each other for centuries. Did you really think your technology would scare us?" Vale watched as his fleet was torn apart. The humans didn't just fight. They adapted mid-battle, learning and changing tactics faster than his ship's computers could predict. "Last chance," Jack offered. "Surrender and leave. Tell your council that Earth is not to be threatened, or we can keep fighting, and we'll show you why our world is called a death world." In the end, only Vale's command ship was allowed to escape. The Council needed to receive their message. As he fled back to Council space, Vale finally understood. They hadn't discovered a primitive species to conquer. They had awakened humanity. And now these Deathworlders were coming to change the galaxy forever. Master K watched the recording of the battle in his private chamber. "And so it begins," he whispered. "The ancient warnings were true. The Deathworlders have returned to the stars. The galaxy would never be the same." The Galactic Council was angry. For the first time in 10,000 years, someone had humiliated them. Their response was massive. 500 warships, the largest fleet ever assembled, jumped into Earth's solar system. Commander Ann Miller stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Thunder, watching the alien fleet appear. She didn't look worried. Instead, she smiled. "They brought exactly what we expected," she said to her crew. "Send the signal." Across Earth's surface, hidden bunkers opened. Thousands of missiles shot into space, but these weren't the simple nuclear weapons of old. Humans had taken the alien ship's matter conversion drive and turned it into something new. Planet killer engines attached to simple rockets. Impossible. The new alien commander, Grand Marshal Pax, watched his sensors light up. Their weapons are reading as strong as small suns. That's because they are. Anne's voice came through on all channels. We took your engine design and asked ourselves, what if we made it explode? The human missiles didn't try to hit the alien ships. Instead, they detonated in space, creating small, temporary stars. The alien fleet's shields, designed to stop energy weapons and kinetic impacts, couldn't handle the raw power of artificial solar flares. A third of the alien fleet died in the first wave. Second phase, Anne ordered. Show them why you don't corner animals from a death world. The human fleet emerged from behind Earth's moon. But they weren't alone. Earth's oceans had hidden a secret, massive carriers holding thousands of smaller fighter craft. On Earth, humans had fought wars with aircraft carriers for 100 years. Now they'd brought that knowledge to space. Swarms of fighters, each piloted by a human trained in Earth's gravity, attacked the alien fleet. They moved in ways the aliens couldn't predict, using maneuvers that would kill any other species. How are they surviving those turns? Pax demanded, watching human pilots pull movements that should crush them to paste. Because we're built to survive, Anne replied. Her ship, Thunder, led the charge. Our world tries to kill us every day. High gravity makes our bones strong. Predators make us mean. Wars make us clever. And now you made us angry. The alien fleet tried to fight back, but humans had learned from the first battle. Their ships now carried special shields, designed to reflect the alien weapons back at them. Every shot the aliens fired became a danger to themselves. This is your last warning, Anne broadcast. Leave Earth's space or be destroyed. We won't show mercy twice. Pax looked at his fleet's remains. Half his ships were gone, destroyed by an impossible species that turned their own technology against them. His weapons were useless. His shields failed against their strange attacks. Retreat, he ordered. Full retreat. But the humans weren't finished teaching their lesson. As the alien fleet turned to run, they found their jump drives wouldn't work. Humans had learned how to shut them down remotely. We studied that ship you lost very carefully, Anne explained. Found all its weaknesses, found ways to make it better. Now we're going to make sure everyone knows. You don't threaten Earth. The battle ended with the alien fleet destroyed or captured. Only Pax's ship was allowed to escape, carrying videos of the battle and a message. Earth was not to be attacked again. In the council chambers, Master K watched the battle recordings again. They did what we feared most. He told the stunned council members. They took our technology and made it more deadly. They survived what should have killed them. And now they know about the rest of the galaxy. Another council member whispered in fear. No, Kay corrected. Now they know there are more worlds to protect. The Deathworlders aren't just warriors. They're guardians, and the galaxy will never be the same. On Earth, Commander Miller watched her fleet return home. The real work was just beginning. Humanity wasn't just going to survive in the galaxy. They were going to change it. Captain Jack Thompson stood at the observation deck of his new ship, the Vengeance, watching the stars blur past. The ship had once been an alien cruiser. Now it was something else, rebuilt by human engineers who'd spent centuries thinking about space warfare through movies, games, and books. Target in range, Captain, his tactical officer reported. The alien military base on planet Rex won't know what hit them. The base was one of the Galactic Council's largest weapons facilities. It was protected by shields that could stop any known attack, defended by automated systems that could track any known ship. But humans weren't known. Not yet. Launch the drops, Jack ordered. From the Vengeance's belly, 30 metal pods shot toward the planet. Inside each one, a human soldier waited in the darkness. The aliens had built their sensors to detect ships and energy weapons. They never thought to look for simple metal boxes falling from space. They're calling them steel rain on other worlds, Jack's second-in-command said with a grin. The aliens can't believe we'd willingly drop from orbit in nothing but metal coffins. But that's what humans had trained to do for centuries before reaching space. Every military on Earth had practiced orbital drops. Now they were doing it for real. The pods crashed through the base's upper atmosphere. Alien sensors ignored them as space debris. By the time the base realized its mistake, 30 of Earth's deadliest soldiers were already inside their walls. "This is Strike Team Alpha," a voice crackled over the radio. "We're in. These aliens really need to learn about basic guard patrols." Jack watched through helmet cameras as his troops moved through the base. The aliens had built their corridors for their own kind, tall, thin, and weak. But humans were short, strong, and used to fighting in tight spaces. Every corner became a death trap for the defenders. "Control room secured," the strike team reported after 20 minutes. "You won't believe what we found, sir." Jack's ship landed at the base's main dock. When he walked into the control room, he understood his team's surprise. The screen showed hundreds of worlds, all under Council control. Many of them were populated by species who had been conquered, just as Earth was meant to be. "Send the signal," he ordered. His communications officer activated the base's powerful transmitters. Across Council space, the message went out to all occupied worlds. "Earth stands with you. The time of the Council's tyranny is ending." In the Council chambers, panic spread as reports arrived. The Deathworlders weren't just defending themselves. They were attacking. Worse, they were freeing other worlds and sharing their modified technology. "We didn't just wake them up," Master K warned. "We showed them there were others who needed help. Humans have a strange drive to protect the weak." More reports flooded in. Human ships appearing from nowhere, using tactics no sane species would try. Bases falling to troops who fought like demons. And everywhere they went, humans improved the technology they captured. "Sir," Jack's tactical officer called out, "we're getting responses. 7 systems have already overthrown their council governors. They're asking for Earth's protection." Jack looked at the galaxy map, now showing friendly worlds in green. The council's territory was shrinking. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were rebuilding the galaxy. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them Phase 4 is working better than we hoped. The Council didn't just make an enemy when they attacked us." He watched as another system turned green on his display. "They created the Guardians they never knew the galaxy needed," he finished. "And we're just getting started." In secret bunkers across Earth, more ships were being built. More soldiers were training. Humanity had spent its entire history preparing for war. Now they had a war worth fighting. Commander Ann Miller's flagship, Thunder, drifted silently through the debris field of what had once been the Council's largest battle fleet. Her ship's sensors picked up emergency beacons from alien escape pods. "Rescue all survivors," she ordered. The aliens had expected humans to be monsters. She would show them something different. On the Council's capital world, Master K presented his findings to the emergency session. The old alien's hands shook as he activated the holographic display. "We have made a terrible mistake," he began. "Look at what our research team found in Earth's history." The display showed scenes from human wars across time. Ancient battles with simple weapons. Massive wars that covered entire continents. Weapons that could destroy cities. Soldiers fighting in every possible environment. Burning deserts, frozen wastelands, deep oceans, and thick jungles. "They have been fighting wars for their entire history," Kay explained. "Not just against nature, but against themselves. Every weapon we use, they invented something similar thousands of years ago." The council members watched in horror as Kay showed them more. Humans fighting in conditions that would kill most species, surviving in space with primitive equipment, treating wounds that should have been fatal. "But that's not the worst part," Kay continued. Watch what happens when we save them." The display changed to show recent events. Human ships rescuing alien civilians from damaged vessels. Earth doctors treating injured Council soldiers. Captured bases being turned into refugee centers. "They can be incredibly violent," Kay said, "but they can also show great mercy. They fight harder to protect others than they do to protect themselves, and that makes them more dangerous than any species we've ever encountered." In another part of space, a Council commander watched in disbelief as human ships appeared inside an asteroid field. His sensors showed the humans were using the massive rocks for cover, something no sane pilot would attempt. "Impossible," he shouted. "The gravitational forces would tear their ships apart." "That's the thing about humans." Jack Thompson's voice came through the communications. "We do impossible things every day. It's how we survived Earth." The human ships darted between asteroids, using maneuvers that should have killed their crews. But humans had evolved under crushing gravity. Their bodies could take forces that would turn other species to paste. "We're not here to fight," Jack continued. "We're here because you have prison camps on your mining worlds. We're freeing them. You can either help us or get out of our way." The Council commander had read the reports. He knew what happened to ships that fought the humans. "We surrender," he said quickly. "The camps are yours." Back on Earth, the human leaders received reports from across the galaxy. More worlds were asking for Earth's protection. The Council's power was crumbling. "They still don't understand," Ann Miller told her crew as they rescued another group of alien survivors. "We're not fighting because we want to. We're fighting because someone needs to protect the weak." In his chambers, Master K reviewed more human history. He found stories of humans risking death to save animals, of soldiers dying to protect civilians, of enemies becoming allies. "We thought they were simple barbarians," he told his personal log. "But there's something far more interesting. They're protectors who learned to be warriors, not warriors who learned to protect." The galaxy was changing. Species that had lived in fear of the Council now looked to Earth for help. They didn't just want human technology or human strength. They wanted human determination, human courage, human hope. And humanity was ready to share it all. The alien known as Worker 42 had never seen anything like it. The massive production facility where he and his people had been forced to work for generations was now under human control. But instead of new masters, they found liberators. "Your people built these machines," Captain Jack Thompson told him, standing in the factory's control room. "So your people will run them. But now you'll be paid fairly, and the weapons you make will protect the free worlds." Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Species that had been enslaved by the Council for centuries were rising up. Human ships brought them weapons, training, and hope. The Council thought attacking Earth would give them a new slave world. Commander Ann Miller explained to a group of freed alien leaders aboard the Thunder. "Instead, they showed us who needed our help." The Council's Grand Chamber was in chaos. More reports arrived every hour. Another world in rebellion. Another fleet defeated. Another species joining what they now called the Earth Alliance. "How are they doing this?" a Council member demanded. Their technology was primitive. Master K stepped forward, his old voice cutting through the panic. "They're doing what humans have always done. They're adapting, learning, making things better." He showed them the latest reports. Humans had taken Council technology and improved it in ways that seemed impossible. Their ships now used gravity itself as a weapon. Their soldiers wore armor that could repair itself. Their computers could hack any Council system. But worse than that, Kay continued, they're teaching others to do the same. In a distant star system, a fleet of ships appeared from jump space. But these weren't human vessels. They were crewed by 7 different species, all former Council slaves, all trained by Earth. The Council Defense Fleet commander stared in shock as the rebel ships approached. They moved like human ships, fought like human ships, but were crewed by species that had been docile slaves for generations. "This is the Free Worlds Alliance," came the transmission. Surrender or retreat. We won't ask twice. The Council ships opened fire, but the rebel fleet used human tactics, impossible maneuvers, coordinated attacks, and technologies the Council had never seen before. Humans taught us well. The rebel commander broadcast as the Council ships exploded or fled. We learned from the best. Back on his ship, Jack Thompson received the report of another victory, but he was more interested in the development centers humans had set up on freed worlds. Former slaves were learning to build, to fight, to govern themselves. The Council thought we were just warriors, he told his crew. They never understood that humans are teachers too. We don't just win wars. We make sure they stay won. In her flagship, Ann Miller met with representatives from 20 newly freed species. They weren't just fighting alongside humans now. They were building their own ships, developing their own technologies, creating their own future. Earth stands with you, she told them. Not as rulers, but as equals. Together, we'll make sure the Council never enslaves another world. The Council prepared for their final stand. They gathered their remaining fleets, activated their oldest weapons, and fortified their core worlds. They thought they were ready for anything. They were wrong. The revolution isn't coming, Master K warned them. It's already here, and it's not just humans we face now. He showed them the latest star charts. Half the galaxy was now marked in the green of the Free Worlds Alliance, and it wasn't just expanding through war. Worlds were choosing to join, choosing freedom over Council control. The humans hadn't just started a rebellion. They had awakened the galaxy. The Council's capital world hung in space like a jewel, surrounded by their last remaining fleet. 10,000 years of rule had come down to this final stand. They had gathered everything they had left. 5,000 ships, their best weapons, their strongest defenses. It wasn't enough. All ships report ready. Commander Ann Miller announced from the Thunder's Bridge. Around her flagship, the largest fleet ever assembled filled space. But this wasn't just a human fleet. Ships from 30 different species flew together, all united under the banner of the Free Worlds Alliance. Remember, Captain Jack Thompson's voice came through on all channels from his ship Vengeance. We're not here for revenge. We're here to free the galaxy. The Council's supreme leader watched the Allied fleet approach. Their sensors showed something impossible. Ships moving in perfect coordination despite being crewed by different species. The humans had taught them all to fight as one. They'd turned the entire galaxy against us, he whispered. Master K stood beside him, watching the same display. No, the old alien corrected. You did that yourselves. The humans just showed everyone they could fight back. The battle began with something no one expected. Silence. The Allied fleet didn't attack. Instead, they broadcast a message to every world, ship, and station in Council space. This is Commander Miller of Earth. The transmission began. We offer one last chance. Surrender, face trial for your crimes, and help us build a better galaxy. Or fight, and learn firsthand why Earth is called a Deathworld. In response, the Council fleet opened fire. They unleashed everything they had. Planet killer beams, time distortion weapons, gravity bombs. The space between the fleets filled with enough firepower to destroy a solar system. But humans had learned from every battle. The Allied ships activated their shields, not the simple barriers the Council used, but complex fields based on Earth's understanding of physics. The Council's weapons splashed harmlessly against them. Phase 1 complete, Jack reported. They've wasted their best shots. Phase 2, Ann ordered. Show them what unity looks like. The Allied fleet moved as one. Ships from dozens of worlds, each adding their own strengths to human battle tactics. Former slave species turned their generations of technical knowledge into weapons. Races the Council thought weak revealed hidden strengths. And leading them all, human ships did what humans do best, the impossible. The Thunder dove straight through the Council's formation, its improved engines letting it move faster than their targeting computers could track. The Vengeance led a squad of ships through maneuvers that should have torn them apart. The Council thought Earth was dangerous because of our gravity, our predators, our wars, and broadcast as the Council fleet began to break apart. But that's not what makes us strong. Another wave of Allied ships struck from behind, using tactics humans had perfected over centuries of warfare. The Council's neat formations shattered. What makes us strong, Jack continued, is that we never stopped trying to be better. And now we've taught the galaxy to do the same. The battle ended not with destruction, but with surrender. The Council fleet, seeing their weapons useless and their tactics countered, laid down arms. The Supreme Leader himself sent the surrender signal. In the Grand Council chamber, Master K watched as human peacekeepers walked in alongside troops from 30 other worlds. The old order was ending. Something new was beginning. "You know what makes humans truly dangerous?" he asked the former Supreme Leader. "Not their strength or their technology. It's their ability to turn enemies into friends." Above the capital world, ships from across the galaxy flew together in formation. Species that had once been slaves now flew alongside humans as equals. The Council's age of oppression was over. The age of unity had begun. And it all started because someone underestimated a Class 13 death world called Earth.